All right, this is the second part of the lesson for Monday, 9/28. And this, along with the first part, that should also be in the YouTube channel, will work for both regular and honors chemistry. What we're going to cover now is ions, and ions really goes more toward honors chemistry. So we said ions are atoms that have lost or gained electrons to become more stable. So now they have a charge. Cations are positive ions that have lost electrons, and this is what metals do. You have to add ion to the name, and then the symbol or chemical notation must reflect that change. So in other words, if I have potassium, with the symbol K, all right, so if I have potassium, which is element number 19, and it will lose one electron, so it becomes a +1. It's lost one negative. Or if I had it in nuclear notation, 19 atomic number and 39 mass number, it would still have to have a +1 to reflect that it's an ion, and it would no longer just be potassium. It's now potassium ion. Anions are negative ions that have gained electrons, and this is what the non-metals do. When you name them, the ending changes to "ide." So like instead of sulfur, it would be sulfide. You may add ion to it, but you do not have to, since the ending tells it's an ion. And the symbol in chemical notation must reflect the charge. So sulfur will gain 2 electrons and become a -2. Or if I wrote it in nuclear notation, atomic number 16, mass number 32, I still have to have that -2 to reflect that it's an ion. And this would be sulfide. And then you'd add ion to it. Or you don't have to, you can add ion. That would not make it incorrect, but you have to have at least the sulfide with the ending changed. All right, so let's look at a couple of examples on those. Like I said, these still are not in your notes. You're having to find a place to put them. I think this will fit below your other examples we did with uranium, etc. So K is potassium, but because it's a +1, it's an ion, so I have to put potassium ion. It still has the same number of protons. That has not changed, so it still has 19 protons. The neutrons are not what's changed. Its mass number is 39, so I would have 20 neutrons. What has changed is electrons, because it's no longer neutral. It has a +1 charge. So that means it's lost 1 electron, so it would have 18 electrons. If it loses an electron, it's lost something negative, and it would become positive. Here I have my nitrogen with a -3. That's a negative ion, so I have to change the ending to nitride. I can put ion. Protons right there, 7, that hasn't changed. Neutrons haven't changed. I still do my mass number minus my atomic number. But what's changed now is I don't also have 7 protons, or that would make it neutral. I have a -3, so that means I've gained, and I have 10 electrons. If you have a negative number as far as your ion charge, then you're gaining electrons. So your electrons should increase the amount of that charge. If you have a positive number, you're losing electrons. So you should have less electrons than you do protons, and you should have it by that number. All right. So looking into, this is for honors. Y'all have to practice. If you go down under practice, you have your atomic structure, which is a quiz. I think there's about 50. It does have a few ions in it. And then you also have a practice subatomic particle number 2. And that one is all ions. So you can write on Cami with this page, and then you can check yourself on the second page. That's all ions if you're struggling a little bit more with ions. If you're in regular chemistry, then go under daily work, subatomic particle worksheet. You'll have to write on this with Cami using your periodic table, and you can see you're filling in the things that are missing. If you know 1 or 2 and the name of the element, you have a periodic table, and you know one more thing, you can work through the rest of these. Honors chemistry, yours are just for practice. Regular chemistry, be sure and turn this in for credit. Also, both classes, don't forget, if you were actually absent, that you go in and do your exit ticket. All right, that's all for today, and we will move on tomorrow further in our notes. Honors, y'all will have a quiz over this on Wednesday.